Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. And also, if you want today's full show, be sure to check out the Dreamerspro podcast. We have that pinned in the comment section. Follow us on Spotify and iTunes. So let's go ahead and get on into this topic right here. Okay, let's get into this topic right here. As you guys know, there was a lot of anticipation surrounding Shannon Sharpe's debut on ESPN First Take. Shannon Sharpe, former FS1 employee. Right before, the Friday before he debuted on that Monday, which I believe was, oh goodness, I think it was September 4th or something like that. They released this interview between him, this podcast episode between him and Stephen A. Smith. Over the weekend, that podcast generated over 1.5 million views, which showed you that there was a lot of interest in Shannon Sharpe going to ESPN. So what happens? First day he goes there. There's all of this attention. You have that opening segment when he has on the cowboy hat, which I thought was clever because it's something new and it's a style that ESPN First Take has. So I think it worked perfectly. And he goes on there and he does his thing, right? The first show was a massive hit in terms of ratings. That first episode drew in an average of 754,000 viewers in that first show. This second show, which was a Tuesday show, because if you guys remember, contractually, Shannon Sharpe is obligated to show up on that show 2 times a week on Mondays and Tuesdays to discuss football. Second show he goes there, generates over 500,000 viewers. It was another success. However, there was something that took place during that first episode of ESPN First Take with Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith. But as a matter of fact, some things that took place. While he was on there was all of this excitement and blah, 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 and all of this stuff. Something interesting happened. While he was on there, Shannon Sharpe, while he was talking, referred to Stephen A. Smith as Skip Bayless. Not once, but 2 times. So what we want to do is, maybe some people ain't hear it. We're going to play a quick clip. It's like 30 seconds of Shannon Sharpe calling Stephen A. Smith Skip Bayless on ESPN First Take. Take a listen to that there.
Is KC on upset alert if they don't get Jones back?
Yes, because if you think about it, the Lions were picked to win that division, Skip.
You know what? It's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
Stephen A.
Hey, you know what, Skip? Skip. It's okay. It's okay.
It's been 7 years. Stephen A.
Right, I got you.
I agree with everything you just said. And he needs to stay his ass off social media. Because here's the thing, Skip.
Steve. Bang! It's all right. It's okay, my man. It's all right. 7 years, bro. It's okay. Don't listen. Don't worry about the choke. Steve.
Don't break that bracelet, though. That's what I'm more concerned about.
Stephen A. It's all right, baby.
So you heard Shannon Sharpe call Stephen A. Smith that. Good. Now, what happened? This morning, I was doing some research, and I came across a post via, fadeawayworld.net, where it was a clip that Stephen A. Smith was responding to, which was the very clip we just played for you, where they were talking, I believe, about the Kansas City Chiefs or something like that, or Kadarius Toney. That's what they were talking about when he calls Stephen A. Smith Skip Bayless. So that clip goes out, and people are laughing at Shannon Sharpe again. And as a matter of fact, when we produced that first show, where we were talking about the feedback, a lot of people in the comment section were saying, "Oh, but he called him Skip. You called him Skip." So yesterday, Stephen A. Smith went on, I believe it was Twitter, to respond to some of the things that people have been saying about Shannon Sharpe in terms of him continuously making that mistake. So let me read what Stephen A. Smith had to say on Twitter. He says, "Will folks calm the F down, please? The man at Shannon Sharpe worked with Skip for 2.5 hours every single every single weekday for 6.5 years. I'm surprised he hasn't called me Skip more. Honest mistake. Nobody is fazed, by the way. So long as he shows up to ESPN First Take when I ask, we are good. Trust." So that's what Stephen A. Smith had to say to the critics of Shannon Sharpe because he keeps making this mistake. What are my thoughts on this? My thoughts are many. First of all, are we going to deny that Shannon Sharpe is not talented? Are we going to deny this? I don't think anyone's going to deny this. Shannon Sharpe is charismatic. He's funny. He's well-spoken. He's credible, especially when he's talking sports, especially football. So Shannon has a lot of things going for him. And what I've noticed is not a Shannon thing. It's a human being thing. Some people, not all, but some people only focus on the times you make mistakes. They don't focus on the times you get things right. I'll give you guys an example of this. We're all human beings, so we're all prone to make errors. On this show, we could produce a 15-minute segment. Give articles, give supporting audio, all of those different things. But if I mispronounce a word or mispronounce a person's name, or I make an error where I say a number because I'm thinking and I rarely use notes and I say something, but people obviously know what I mean, there are people that will listen to a 15-minute show, and the minute you make that one mistake, they're going to point out that mistake. They're going to overlook the entire 14 minutes and 50 seconds and hold on to that 3 to 4 second mistake that you made, and then leave a comment and say, but hey, you made a mistake right there. You made a mistake. Go. What about that? You said that right there. You said, what about that? That's some human beings for you. Some people are just wired to think that way and nitpick and point out people's flaws and point out where you're doing. That's just some human beings. When the thing originally happened, if I'm being totally honest with you, I didn't give a damn. Was it surprising? No. Do you know why? Because when I talk and we do these shows, sometimes you say one thing meaning another thing. You may say one number meaning another number. And sometimes I'll watch the show back and be like, oh man, I should have said that. The majority of the people won't comment because they understand that, number one, this guy just made a mistake, or number two, I understand what he's saying. So we're going to give him a break. We produce 2,500 plus videos. Do you know how many hours it takes to produce 2,500 videos? Do you know how many hours that goes into that? You do something long enough, you're going to make mistakes. It's not, oh, I'm making an excuse. It's a human thing. So for people to be sitting down and pointing, oh, look, you wrote that wrong or you misspelled that, give me a break. Because we could have somebody sit down and then scrutinize you throughout your day. Maybe when you're doing your work, where you had a typo, where you said the wrong thing, where you didn't say the right word. And somebody could say, hey, you effed up over there too. But that's childish. That's childish. That's the first thing. The second thing, he called him Skip. Big deal. Big deal. So what? What does it mean? That what? What does it mean? That what? Oh, he still got Skip on his mind. The guy moved on to a bigger show. How does he still have Skip on his mind? He's doing bigger things. I just recently saw he had another show. What's the show? He has a show with Chad Ocho Cinco. He has a new show. He has an ESPN First Take. He's doing interviews. I think he has an interview coming out with Chris Brown, and I think today or tomorrow or something like that. The guy's busy. The guy's doing very well. And I think in all of this, we're losing the fact this Shannon Sharpe is successful at ESPN. We're making it about everything except the success. Folks, the guy brought in 700,000 viewers on his debut episode. 754,000. Now, some people say, but ESPN generally has a viewer base, which fluctuates. It does fluctuate between 350, maybe 450. So the bump in viewership, you can attribute that to Shannon Sharpe. The guy's doing well. So while we sitting up here talking about, oh, he says skip, Shannon Sharpe is skipping all the way to the bank. He's skipping all the way to the bank. J. Cole made a joke about it. About people making fun of your mistakes or whatever it is. Like, so what? He called him Skip. So what? Are you surprised? I mean, this happens when you're around somebody for long enough. You're going to call them the other person's name. What's the big deal? So for Stephen A. Smith to push back, I guess that it was beginning to get to him, and maybe a lot of people were talking about it, and maybe it got to him where it's like he's hearing the chatter out there. To me, I wouldn't even have bothered to respond to it because it's irrelevant. It's not changing anything. It's not like as if, oh, because he called him Skip Bayless, oh my God, all of a sudden people are not going to tune into ESPN First Take and watch. No, they are. They are. No one in their right mind will say that Shannon Sharpe is doing a bad job. So to boil it down to all of that, man, I just think that's just a bunch of hating and people just being nitpicking and looking for people to make mistakes. And if you're somebody that you yourself makes mistakes, it's quite corny to go around pointing out when people have errors and say, oh, look, you made that. Look what he said. Come on, stop. Like, what are we 7 years old? Like, come on. I got it. The first episode, I got it. Okay, he made the mistake. Maybe it was a lot of nerves and anticipation. Okay, but now we're still on it. He called him Skip. So if people didn't point this out, I wouldn't even care. And for Shannon to even react the way that he did by saying, damn, I think he gave these jokers more leeway. Like, so what? The guy's successful. He's doing his thing. Like, what's up with all of this? Oh my God, he said Skip's name. And, oh, what does it mean for Shannon Sharpe? Oh, is it a wrap for his career? Like, yo, cut it out. Like, come on, at a certain point, man, we got to stop. And then it'll be the same people running around talking about, oh, you're trying to uplift a black man and pull it out. Yo, cut it out. It's becoming like whack at this point. Like, we got to stop. But these are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.